Well, the state this week published long-awaited changes to land use rules that the Department of Environmental Protection says will strengthen resilience to sea level rise and flooding by putting regulations on development in New Jersey's coastal communities. Now, advocates argue the goal is to protect those neighborhoods along with infrastructure in and around them, while business groups say the guidelines, dubbed REAL rules, is a regulatory overreach. Senior correspondent Joanna Gagis has the story.
The first rule of holes is that when you're in one, stop digging, right? So these rules adopt that philosophy.
A group of environmentalists gathered on the Asbury Park Boardwalk today to celebrate the Department of Environmental Protection publishing a new set of guidelines for developing around the shore.
These are the first in the country to integrate climate change impacts into land use regulations, and these will make us safer.
Called REAL, which stands for Resilient Environments and Landscapes Rules, the DEP says it'll make New Jersey homes and businesses more resilient as the state deals with sea level rise.
Current projections indicate as much as 5.1 feet of sea level rise is likely by 2100 here in New Jersey, and nearly 2/3 of New Jersey's coastline is at high or very high risk of coastal erosion.
These rules come as Hurricane Debby is making its way up the coast, and NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, predicts that New Jersey will see 4 to 7 major storms this year alone. That means a Category 2 or higher.
This rule is trying to anticipate where sea level rise due to climate change will bring those flood elevations. So it creates coastal inundation zones in which a new set of standards apply. In that area, new housing and redevelopment will have to be built 5 feet above the base flood elevation.
That's an increase from the 3-foot building rule set by Governor Chris Christie in the wake of Superstorm Sandy. It'll also include guidelines around stormwater runoff, and these coastal inundation zones will apply to redevelopment as well, which was previously exempt from state guidance.
The new rules say that when you're redeveloping a site, A, you have to address the stormwater runoff. That's brand new. And B, if you're adjacent to a wetland, you've got to roll back the impervious surfaces. I believe it's 25 feet, right? We need to allow the healing of these wetlands that are so critical to protect us from flooding.
Business and industry advocates say the rules are too onerous and will drive people away from the shore. They'll no doubt appeal to the state for rollbacks during this 90-day open public comment period. Cape May city manager and engineer Paul Dietrich would like to see exemptions made for residential development.
I think for residential construction, a shorter term approach and, in cutting that number in half, whether it's 2 or 3 feet of sea level rise to accommodate residential construction is probably more appropriate for our communities.
And more affordable. Plus, he says it'll impact the overall economy.
I mean, tourism is not just our local economy, but it's a big component of the state economy. So, it's not like, there is going to be impact to this. It's going to raise costs on building and doing things.
But Lucia Osborne says if we're talking costs, look at what it costs to recover from storms.
In New Jersey, we've already spent over $5.8 billion in federal funding to help rebuild properties that have been lost from flood damage. And then when you factor in the cost of wages lost, business closures, and other related losses, we've actually spent over $50 billion in the state of New Jersey alone from climate change.
And there's the devastating loss of life. The state will take public comment on the proposed rules until early November. In Asbury Park, I'm Joanna Gagis, NJ Spotlight News.